1:15 p.m. This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. The news edited by Romesh Piris and read by Geethanjali Ramanayaka. The headlines. The head of the state receives blessings from the Malwathu and Askiri Mahanayaka Theras. All state banks to remain open today for Aswasuma subsidy. An agreement reached over interim compensation for the Express Pearl maritime disaster. The government to further simplify the visa methodology carried out at present. 5% withholding tax to be refunded to senior citizens. A decision to revitalize the SLBC's Rajarata service. The final Randoli Perahara to light up the streets of Kandy tonight. International news, Ukrainian drones attack Russian airport in large-scale raid on 6 regions. In sports, the 2023 Asia Cup is scheduled to get underway today. News in detail. President Ranil Wickremesinghe has called on the chief prelates of the Malwathu and Askiri chapters. The President's media division said the President first visited the Malwathu Mahaviharaya to meet the Most Venerable Sri Sumangala Mahanayaka Thera, engaging in a brief yet impactful conversation. The head of the state received blessings and the Theras chanted Setpirit and extended their blessings. The President also paid a visit to the Anunayaka of the Malwathu chapter, Most Venerable Dimbul Kumbure Sri Wimaladharma Thera, engaging in a concise and meaningful discussion. Subsequently, the President proceeded to the Askiri Mahaviharaya, where he received blessings from the Askiri Mahanayaka Most Venerable Warakagada Sri Jnanaratana Thera. Sri Lanka has agreed to accept the interim compensation for the Express Pearl maritime disaster. The notice was directed to the insurance company and law firm representing Express Pearl, the Attorney General's Department said. The report submitted to the Marine Environment Protection Authority suggests that the interim compensation will be paid. MIPA has demanded for $89 million and 16 million rupees as interim compensation. The insurance company and the law firm had previously expressed their willingness to pay the interim compensation during discussions in Singapore recently. The Ministry of Agriculture has decided to immediately deploy a group of officials to conduct a field study of the Udawalawe Reservoir. The decision was reached during a discussion held in the Mahawali Authority of Sri Lanka under the leadership of Minister of Agriculture Mahinda Amarveera, Minister of Irrigation Roshan Ranasinghe, and Minister of Wildlife and Forest Resources Conservation Pavitra Wanyarachi. This is following a proposal made by the farming community in the area to remove the silt from the Udawalawe Reservoir, where the water is currently drying up. The report of the field study will be completed within 3 days, and thereafter necessary action will be taken. This news broadcast comes to you from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. A decision was taken to modernize the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation's regional service Rajarata into a cultural service. During an observational tour to the premises, the Minister of Mass Media Dr. Bandula Gunodana said the decision was arrived after discussions with the Chief Sanganayaka of the Nuwareliya Kalaviya and Chief Incumbent of Ruwanvali Mahasaya, Most Venerable Pallegama Hemaratna Thero. The Minister further said a decisive program will be implemented to revitalize the Rajarata service as a national service and the premises funded by the French government. The chairman of the SLBC, Hudson Samarasinghe, also joined the occasion. The final Randoli Mahaperahara of the Asala festival in Kandy will parade the streets tonight. The Perahara, which departs northbound from the Dalda Maligawa at 7:03 p.m., will travel along Dalada Street, Yatunira Street, Kanda Vidya, D.S. Senanayaka Vidya, and return from Rajavidya. After the Perahara returns, the Perahara of the Dalda Maligawa goes to Askiriya Gedike Rajamahaviharaya, Adahana Maluwa, along with 4 Devala processions. According to the ancient ritual, the Perahara casket will be placed there. And that ends local news for now.
The main news story is brought to you by Siddhalepa Veda Mahatmya.
State banks are in operation today despite it being a poor day. Thereby all branches of the Bank of Ceylon, People's Bank and the National Savings Bank are kept open from 8 a.m. till 5 p.m. State Minister of Finance Ranjit Siambalapitiya said the decision was taken to facilitate the Aswasuma welfare beneficiaries to collect their payments. Meanwhile, State Minister of Finance Shehan Semasinga said among the 2 million Aswasuma beneficiary families, phase payments have commenced for 1.5 million families. Under the first phase, a total of 4.395 billion rupees have been successfully transferred to the bank accounts of 689,803 beneficiaries. And that was the main news story.
The main news story was brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
Watch Life is brought to you by
CIB Janajaya Vasana. Unbelievable discounts and offers throughout August from CIB Janajaya Vasana. Come today itself.
In Watchlight this afternoon, Sri Lanka has experienced a dramatic surge in HIV/AIDS cases during the second half of 2023, marking the highest number of cases reported in a single quarter since 2009. According to Dr. Janaki Vidanapatrana, Director of the National STD and AIDS Control Program, there has been a significant rise in HIV cases in 2023. She noted that a total of 346 HIV cases have been reported this year, marking a noticeable increase compared to the previous year, and expressed concern that the number of cases may continue to rise in the coming months. She attributed the increase to several factors, including the expansion of testing capacity, lack of knowledge about sex education among the public, risky sexual behavior, and a failure to take necessary precautions. Dr. Vidanapatrana stressed it's crucial for individuals to be aware of the risks associated with HIV and to take appropriate measures to protect themselves. She added that the National STD and AIDS Control Program continue to work towards raising awareness and providing the necessary resources to combat the spread of HIV. And that was Watchlight.
CIB Janajaya Vasana. Unbelievable discounts and offers throughout August from CIB Janajaya Vasana. Come today itself.
World News Headlines. Ukrainian drones attack Russian airport in large-scale raid on 6 regions. Gabon military officers claim power, say election lacked credibility. And yes, optimistic as Australia sets date for indigenous voice referendum. Russia said that Ukraine launched drones against targets in 6 Russian regions, including an attack on an airport in a western city of Skal, located near borders of Latvia and Estonia, where military transport aircraft were reported damaged amid explosions and a huge fire, in what could be the biggest drone attack on Russian territory since Moscow's full-scale invasion of Ukraine last year. Russia Defense Ministry said this morning that drones were also shot down over the regions of Orlov, Bryansk, Ryazan, Kaluga, and the Moscow region surrounding the Russian capital. A group of senior military officers has gone on national television in Gabon saying they have seized power because elections held over the weekend were not credible. The officers appearing on Gabon 24 in the hours of Wednesday morning said they had cancelled the elections, dissolved all state institutions and closed the country's borders. They said they represented all security and defense forces of Gabon. The announcement came shortly after the state election body said President Ali Bongo Ondimba had won 3rd term in office on Saturday's disputed elections. Retired Indigenous football star Michael Long has set out on a 650-kilometre walk from Melbourne to Canberra in support of the upcoming referendum on Indigenous rights. The vote will take place on the 14th of October, Prime Minister Anthony Albanese announced in the southern city of Adelaide today. If successful, the vote will see Australia's constitution amended to acknowledge Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people and create an all-Indigenous advisory board within the federal government. Back to the headlines of the world news. Ukrainian drones attack Russian airport in large-scale raid on 6 regions. Gabon military officers claim power, say election lacked credibility. And yes, optimistic as Australia sets date for Indigenous voice referendum. That ends World News.
Development News is brought to you by
Job opportunities for well-experienced housemaids and home cooks in Saudi Arabia and Kuwait for ages 40 to 58 years. Salary 125,000 rupees. Contact 0337 500 500.
The government has decided to increase the number of electric buses procured under the proposed public-private partnership project to 200. In February 2023, the Cabinet of Ministers gave its approval to procure 50 electric buses as a public-private partnership project to integrate them into public transportation in the Western Province of Sri Lanka Transport Board. However, the government has observed that increasing the number of electric buses procured under the project to around 200 would be beneficial. And that was Development News.
Job opportunities for women from Deshakti Lanka in Saudi Arabia, Kuwait and Oman. Housemaids and home cooks in Saudi Arabia, ages 40 to 58 years. Arabic speaking and well experienced home cooks. Salary 125,000 rupees. Interviews are now on with foreign agents. You can travel overseas free of charge now. Branches Colombo, Kurunegala, Anuradhapura and Matara. Contact number 0377 500 500. Deshakti Lanka Foreign Employment Agency.
In sports news, cricket, the 2023 Asia Cup is scheduled to get underway today. The 6-team tournament will get underway with hosts Pakistan taking on Nepal in Malton. The game is scheduled to begin at 3 p.m. Sri Lanka time. Reigning champion Sri Lanka will kickstart the campaign with a game against Bangladesh tomorrow at Pallekele International Cricket Stadium. Meanwhile, in football news, Manchester City's Erling Haaland has won the PFA Men's Player of the Year award, with Arsenal's Bukayo Saka named Young Player of the Year. Norway forward Haaland, aged 23, scored 52 goals in all competitions in his debut season with Pep Guardiola's side. Haaland beat teammate Kevin De Bruyne and John Stones, Arsenal's Saka and Martin Odegaard, and Tottenham's Harry Kane, now at Bayern Munich. City won the Premier League, FA Cup and Champions League treble last season. And that was sports news.
Go ekak thiyana youth eකට life එකේ change එකට නියමෙට set වෙන්න ඇස් වහගෙන දැකපු ගීන හැබැ කරන්න youth එකට නියමෙට set වෙන්න friendship එක මෙන්න.
The all-new NSB Ithru account, NSB IAM, a plan for your dream.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
Pacific Agro has commenced a program in line with the Aswasuma Welfare Benefit Program to provide beneficiaries with an essential nutritious goods pack. The chairman of the company, Professor Lakshan Vitar, mentioned that a social responsibility initiative, the company hopes to provide quality grocery pack and packet of milk powder to Aswasuma recipients at a reasonable price. Professor Vitarna further mentioned that Aswasuma beneficiaries can order goods through the website www.janajaya.lk or calling the telephone number 0712 901 901. And that was Business News.
By National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
Go ekak thiyana youth එකට life එකේ change එකට නියමෙට set වෙන්න ඇස් වහගෙන දැකපු ගීන හැබැ කරන්න youth එකට නියමෙට set වෙන්න friendship එක මෙන්න.
The all-new NSB Ithru account, NSB IAM, a plan for your dream.
On to economic news. The government has decided to refund the 5% withholding tax levied on the interest and taxable income of senior citizens after the 10th of September if the interest income is less than 100,000 rupees per month. Finance State Minister Ranjit Siamlapitiya said that this decision was taken with President Ranil Wickremesinghe after considering the situation of senior citizens. The 5% withholding tax has been levied from January 1st, 2023, not only on senior citizens, but also on those earning an interest income of more than 1.2 million rupees per annum. And that was economic news.
Weather report.
The Department of Meteorology says the prevailing showery condition is expected to continue in the southwestern part of the island during the next few days. The Met Department said showers will occur at times in the western, Sabaragamuwa, central and northwestern provinces and in the Galle and Matra districts. It added, fairly heavy showers about 75 millimeters can be expected at some places in the western and Sabaragamuwa provinces and in the Galle and Matra districts. Showers or thunder showers are likely at several places in the eastern and Uva provinces and in the Mullaitivu district during the evening or night. The Met Department said fairly strong winds, about 40 to 45 kilometers per hour, can be expected at times on the western slopes of the Central Hills, western and Sabaragamuwa provinces. The general public has been requested to take adequate precautions to minimize damage caused by temporary localized strong winds and lightning during thunder showers. And that was the weather report. Prior to concluding this news broadcast, the headlines once again. The head of the state receives blessings from the Malwatu and Askiri Mahanayaka Terals. All state banks to remain open today for Aswasuma subsidy. An agreement reached over interim compensation for the Express Pearl maritime disaster. The government to further simplify the visa methodology carried out at present. 5% withholding tax to be refunded to senior citizens. A decision to revitalize the SLBC's Raja service. The final Randoli Perahara to light up the streets of Kandy tonight. International news, Ukrainian drones attack Russian airport in large-scale raid on 6 regions. Sports, the 2023 Asia Cup is scheduled to get underway today. And with that, we end this news broadcast from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation and handing over the microphone back to Chandima Veerakone on the other side to keep you entertained with lunchtime music. Over to you, Chandima.